which of course is Bamboozle, YouTube Live on the Power Voices, the radio station at www.thepowervoices.com, and UPeak, and all the other sites that our mighty and tremendous guru of all things, Lee Michaels, hooks us up into. I just want to let our friends and our viewers and our listeners know there that for about the last 7 days, I was in ICU in the hospital. I had lost half my blood in my body. The normal male body carries about 9 pints of blood. Excuse me. And your heart produces 5 pints of blood a day. So when you're bleeding out or internal bleeding that I was doing and not knowing it was happening, you can't produce enough blood to replace the blood you're losing. So just in a nutshell, what happened, I had 4 tears in my esophagus and my upper colon due to a injury that I took from an outside blow onto my upper right rib cage. In actuality, I was wrestling around with my 21-year-old fitness king son, who has entered into a challenge race with the Spartan a 3-mile sprint and obstacle course this weekend on December 10th that I was training for and entering into or had entered into for the last 3 or 4 or 5 months, and especially the last 6 to 8 weeks. And my son and I were just goofing around and having a good time, rolling around on the mat, wrestling and doing just things that you do with your boy, especially when he and I both are into physical fitness and things like that. Well, he just got up on top of me with his weight, and I rolled around trying to get out of the kind of the locks he had on me, MMA style, and bruised my ribs and pushed my ribs into the esophagus and upper colon, and that happened about a week and a half before Thanksgiving. And what happened? I had internal bleeding and almost died. So that's really what happened. After 2 surgeries and a lot of plasma and a couple blood transfusions. Hey, it's Jesse T, and I'm back. The Brown Beauty is on duty, feeling good, and rip roaring and ready to roll, baby. Hey, I can't help but being me, Jesse T. So if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out the way I do. But I did learn a very valuable lesson. Don't wrestle with very strong young men. Because your body, when you're in your 50s, just does not bend and move and shift, and it's not as supple as it once was. So you just can't take even the littlest of things sometimes. So, but I'm back and ready. And hey, Freddie's always ready, but never ready to get steady, baby. That's right. So I'd like to thank everybody who wished me well, who knew I kept it quiet. Quite honestly, I was quiet for like 6 days, 5 to 6 days in ICU. So I was quiet myself, just trying to recover and in that respect. Saying hi to Alex Beverly Thompson, who has us on, and I appreciate that. Thanks a lot for checking in with us. Also saying hi to Alex Tepizano, and Mama T has us on, and all the viewers who are starting to chime in. Always remember, let us know where you're calling from, where you're chiming in from, where you're kind of letting us know you're at, and what you're up to and what's happening in your town and community. And if you ever want to let us know about some things that you're doing, interesting things, we'll be happy to, get the information out and about around the world as God's blue-green earth continues on rolling. Saying hi to Matt Kling. Matt Kling, thanks a lot, Matt. I appreciate that. Let me see if I can squint here a little bit and look. Glad you're okay now. Hey, thanks. I am too, man. Totally something by surprise. Had no indication that I was bleeding inside internally. But when it hit pretty hard. That's for sure. That's no lie. So anyhow, we are broadcasting live here. We've got a good show lined up for us today, and we're going to talk about a couple of things. One of the things that I noticed in the news today? Right on, man. Donald Trump, right on. Brother, now whether you like him or you voted for him or not, but did you hear about that guy today coming on board? You know who I'm talking about. We're talking about the Japanese mogul, the Japanese mogul businessman. He came on board today in New York, and he basically said, I'm going to create 50,000 jobs, man. 50,000 jobs. The guy from SoftBank, he's going to invest $50 billion in the U.S. Economy. That is so righteously cool. It blows my mind. $50 billion he's going to invest. And so I jumped on the board on that earlier this morning to kind of find out, what he's going to be doing. And what he's going to be doing, he's going to be investing that money into small business, the creation of small business ideas and small and medium businessmen and women. So if you've got a small business and you need some money to invest, to infuse capital, some angel money into your business, you got to get in touch with this guy at SoftBank. He's going to create 50,000 new jobs. That's what his goal is to do. The Japanese businessman, it is the group that made an offer last year to buy Paramount Studios. They were going to go as much as $10 billion. It got narrowed down to about 3 groups, and then Redstone kind of stepped in and said, no, we're going to keep the studio. It's the telecommunications giant SoftBank Group, and they're going to create 50,000 new jobs. Masayushi Son met with President-elect Donald Trump, and there you go, man, just like that. So now we've got Ford Motor Company keeping their jobs here. We got Carrier, and I don't really care what the deal is. That's 1,000 great paying jobs kept here. We've got this group keeping jobs here. Man, Donald Trump today, he basically said, screw the new U.S. Air Force One. We don't need to be paying $4 billion for brand new 747s. That's ridiculous. He basically just pointed the finger at Boeing and said, you're overcharging. You're totally overcharging. That's what a president is supposed to do. Not be afraid to speak out, not ruffle any feathers. Just say, hey, you guys, billion-dollar corporation, Boeing, I don't care what contracts you have with us. You're charging us too much money for a plane. $4 billion for a brand new 747 plane to be developed for the president? He said, forget that. Forget that. And that's what we wanted to hear from our president. That's what we always like to hear from our presidents. And so some of that kind of cool, shoot from the hip kind of stuff, but it's not really shoot from the hip. It's like, yeah, finally, thank you very much. Somebody's finally, calling these CEOs that have these umbrella parachutes when they retire or when they get out, they get $300 million. Finally, somebody is calling them out on the carpet, man. I mean, finally. Yeah, that's what it's all about. So anyhow, also saying hi to Isabel Munoz. Hey, she's tapping in from Phoenix, baby. Phoenix. Hey, I'm feeling fine. Thank you very much, Isabel. And thanks for tapping in from Phoenix. What's going on in Phoenix tonight? Arizona. I love Arizona. You know why I love Arizona? Because Arizona is a carry state. In other words, man, you can carry your sidearm with you. You can pack that pistol. You can be a red-hot rolling mama. That's right, a pistol-wielding mama. I like that. And so Arizona is real cool like that. You can have a pistol. You have to qualify for it. You got to pass a test. But you can get your license to carry a weapon on you. And I think that is the best thing. Did you know that here in California, we already have that on the books? The California citizenry a couple of elections ago voted that on the books. I'm drinking my favorite drink when it's kind of cool. That's Lipton iced tea. I love Lipton iced tea. I just regular old tea. None of that fancy Dan tea, all that stuff. Just give me some Lipton tea. for this Lipton man. Thank you. So, we're on the books here in California that citizens can carry a concealed weapon. The problem is our screaming left-wing liberal state is afraid to let that happen, like here in the city of Los Angeles. I take a big breath because the city of Los Angeles is just twisted. We're a sanctuary city. Please, really? If you're a sanctuary city, as far as I'm concerned, if I was president, I'd pull your funding for your state. I'd pull the funding. Anything I'd be funding you would be gone. Look, we got to get immigration under control. And we're getting immigration under control. We're going to build a wall, a fence. We're going to do whatever we got to do to get the people from stop coming over here. And then we're going to arrest all the ones that are criminals and toss them back where they came from. And then we're going to redevelop and modernize our immigration rules, laws, and regulations. It's just that simple. And you know something? All those 11 million people that are here, and I really think there's 30 million, but all those people that are here, they're not all going to go back. We're not going to ship them all back. We're going to figure out a way to humanize this thing and allow these people to continue participating with this great nation. But look at these sanctuary cities have got to go. San Francisco, Portland, Los Angeles. Are you kidding me? So anyhow, but nevertheless, here's the point. The point is we can carry weapons here, but in the city of Los Angeles, they won't let you qualify for a concealed weapon, a CCW. And if you do qualify for it, you're extra special. But Kern County will. If you have an address in Kern County where Bakersfield is, they'll let you qualify for a CCW. San Bernardino will in some cases as well. But LA County will not and LA City will not. You see how mixed up our state is? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyhow, right on to Arizona. I love Arizona. A good friend of mine, Craig Powers, is in Arizona, and he runs 5 radio stations there, and it's a great state. He used to own property right there on the Colorado River. I did, my family and I, and we'd cross over to Arizona all the time. Anyhow, good to have you guys along. So, right on for Trump. He's acting like a president. And that's what we want from our presidents, you know? We want that to take place in that respect. And point the finger and say, you got to do this. Did you know that this weekend coming up, December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy, a 6-minute speech that FDR gave to Congress 23 and a half hours after Pearl Harbor was bombed and we engaged Japan and committed war against Japan and her allies. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a president of very little words and lots of action. In that respect, you know, he pointed the finger and pulled the trigger. Truman did too. Truman was the president that followed him, pointed the finger and pulled the trigger. The following president was Eisenhower, pointed the finger and pulled the trigger. That's what Kennedy tried to do, and they assassinated him. LBJ was a yes man. And then all the ones that followed after that, all the way up to our current president, which I am so happy he is leaving. I think he was president of great social divide and religious divide. And what little increase he did in turning this nation around is so small and infantile. And I am so glad that we have a guy in there that can point the finger and pull the trigger. It's time to get that back in our arsenal of tricks. So, all right, we got jobs, jobs, jobs. I've always said that jobs will turn around America. So that's really the key. Great jobs create great income, which creates great opportunity to live the quality of life, the life that we all want to live, the great American dream. And that brings me into talking about this $15 an hour wage push. Uh, are you really? Are you kidding me? $15 mandatory wage push across the nation. I've been against that since the beginning. It just comes straight out of Economics 101, and here's why. Let me give you an example of what's happening. The food service industry, and you will agree with me that the food service industry is a very large industry today, very gigantic. In fact, over the last 20 years, it's really grown, and it really supports lots of families, lots of jobs, menial jobs as they are, but it supports lots of jobs, okay? And they got to make a buck. So when your favorite place, In-N-Out Burger or Carl's Jr. or McDonald's or White Castle or whatever burger place you go to in your town across this great nation, they have to pay their employees. And how they pay their employees and buy their products and supplies and materials and pay for their rent or lease or their property mortgage payments and their advertising and their marketing and their promotions and the health insurance and the power bills and all of those things that come with owning your own business. They get that money from what? From somebody who just gives them the money? No. They get that money from selling hamburgers. Right? Selling hamburgers. Okay? So, if a mandatory $15 an hour wage goes across the country, well, what do you think is going to happen to the cost of that hamburger and fries, or that pizza, or that fast Chinese food, or that fast Mexican food, burritos, tacos, or that fast chicken, or that fast ribs that you go to eat at all the time, or that fast food place that serves you biscuits or serves you pastries or serves you submarine sandwiches? What do you think is going to happen when the $15 hour a wage, minimum wage, goes in effect across the nation? What do you think? Oh, bingo! Yes! The cost of that hamburger is not going to be $4. The cost of that hamburger is going to be $4.50. And the cost of that chocolate shake isn't going to be $3. The cost of that chocolate shake is going to be $3.50. And the cost of those French fries or onion rings or whatever you get as a side dish aren't going to be $2.50. It's going to be $3. So, yeah, and you're going to get a chocolate shake that instead of being a large, super large chocolate shake in a glass like this, right? You're going to get a chocolate shake in a glass like this. And the price is going to go up, right? And instead of getting a fat, juicy burger or chicken burger, right? Or veggie burger, big, thick, fat, juicy, it's going to shrink down a little bit, right? Well, duh. You're going to spend more money, get less, and that means you're not going to be able to feed your family for less. It's going to cost you more money to feed your family. Wow. Well, that $15 an hour wage has to be covered somewhere. So then that affects your paycheck, doesn't it? Because what happens is you work for $15 an hour and you work for 2 hours to make $30, and you used to take your family of 4 or 5 out to your favorite place to get some fast food, and it would cost you what? At least $10 a person, and you have 4 or 5 people in your family, so $40 to $50. So it takes you more than 2 hours to earn the money right now to buy your family hamburgers and chocolate shakes and French fries. Right? Okay, and what happens then is this. The cost of those things to feed your family goes up, so the profit that you have in your pocket diminishes, and it makes you work more hours to compensate for the cost of the food, and the $15 you make actually gets nullified. It's just that simple. Economics 101. But wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Check it out. If you work for a giant corporation, like let's say McDonald's, or let's say Walmart, or let's say one of the big giant grocery chains. Kruger owns more grocery markets across America than anybody. Here on the West Coast, they're Ralph's markets. On the East Coast, they're called something else. The Midwest are called South, they're called something else. But one of these big giant, like Home Depot, or Lowe's, or J.C. Penney, right? But let's kind of look at the fast food service again, because this is where it's happening right now with the giant corporations. So one day, I'm in Burbank, and I wanted to stop in and get a Jack in the Box. And the line to drive through was down the street and around the corner. So I looked in the area where you go in and order. No one in there. So I went in there, and I went to the cash register to order. And nobody came to help me. They're all feverishly making hamburgers, and managers running around. And finally the manager, I say, hey, what are you doing? Right? The manager says to me, oh, you can just order at the kiosk. I said, kiosk? I'm thinking kiosk in the middle of a mall that you walk through, right? Kiosk. Kiosk. Yeah, right over there. I said, I can order my tacos and my burgers and a chocolate shake and some fries on the kiosk. Yeah, you can pay for it over there too. So I walked over to the kiosk. They had one, and there were like 6 people in line. He said, yeah, you can't order up here anymore. You got to go to the kiosk. That'll go really fast. There were 2 stations at the kiosk and 6 people in line. So I got up there, took my debit card, bong, bing, bong, right, went and sat down, boom, here, order number 76. But check, perfect. Absolutely perfect. So I asked the manager, I said, how many people in this Jack in the Box, and I've been going to this Jack in the Box since Jack in the Box was created in the 1960s. My grandfather used to love those Jack in the Box breakfast jacks. He loved those back in the 1960s. And so I asked him, how many? In fact, that's where I found one of my artists that I represented, Miranda. That's another story. But I asked him, how many people did you let go? He goes, oh, the kiosk, it replaced 4 cashiers. I said, you gotta be kidding me. 4 people lost their jobs? Yeah. See how fast it was in the kiosk? See how efficient it was, right? Your order's perfect, right? Yeah. I said, yeah. See, the major corporations, McDonald's is already doing it across the country. Walmart, Home Depot, a lot of the grocery chains like Amazon Go, which is about to break open across the nation. They're going into brick and mortar. Amazon Go groceries. There will be no cash registers. You just walk in with your smartphone, put it on there, boop, it registers it, right? You get their app, boop, it registers it. You pick everything you want in the store. You walk out, boop, right? It registers, debits it from your account, and boom, you're gone. No cashiers. Those are $15 an hour jobs, guys. So those of you who are arguing for $15 an hour minimum wage, and those of you proponents who are for it, all you people are doing is creating unemployment. This is going to happen. It's already happening. The major corporations are going to replace you with robotics. And they're already doing it. They don't need you anymore. Okay? And if you push them to go 15-hour minimum wage, you're out of a job. And within 5 years, 10 for sure, there will be no jobs like that. $15 an hour will help you go mow the lawn, or work for Joe's gardener service, or picking up the poop in somebody's golf carts. That's what $15 an hour will get you. So you see, guys, you got to think about what you ask for, because you may think you're getting something, but you're not. And the reason why that is purely economics 101. It's because you can't arbitrarily inflate income without a foundational support for that income to be inflated. In other words, when you go to work for somebody and you get a raise and your income increases, it's because the store is profiting and you're a good employee and you're bringing something to the store of value. Okay? So they give you a raise and your income goes up. But if you arbitrarily inflate the income, the business owner is going to find ways to reduce their costs, and the cost reduction is not going to necessarily go into their product, because if their product isn't any good, then the customers don't come. So the reduce in cost in terms of the employer is going to be in your pocketbook. In other words, bada bing, bada boom, you're fired. Can't afford you anymore. Got to cut back 4 jobs, just like they did in Jack in the Box. And that was 2 years ago. Let me tell you something. Almost every McDonald's I go into now, they're starting to make that shift. It's already at Walmart. It's already at Home Depot. You don't need a cash register person anymore. And they're going to do it, because they got to save money and make money. The active business is making money. Bottom line. So be careful what you ask for, those who are seeking the $15 an hour minimum wage, mandatory across the nation by law. Just putting yourself out of work. Angela Capri, good to have you along. Hey, good to see you, Angela. Appreciate you checking in with us. She's a terrific actress. She's got lots of good projects coming out, and we've interviewed her many times. Thanks a lot, Angela, for checking in, and we're having a fun time here today, just talking about all kinds of stuff. So, I do like what that coach said. I believe it was a Villanova basketball coach this morning, blasted out and went viral all over TV and all over the internet, and basically said sort of what Tom Hanks said in the movie where the women were playing professional baseball, and the one lady started crying, and Tom Hanks was sort of the recuperating alcoholic manager, and he says, crying, there's no crying in baseball, right? So sort of like that, the Villanova coach, I believe it was Villanova, or it might have been Vanderbilt, but I think it was Villanova. He basically said, he called a generation of people out. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, but he says, participation trophies, all you're teaching your children is to be pansy-wansies. That's not the way the world functions, and that's not the way the world works. You get a trophy when you do something great. Participate, the fact that you're on the team and you're playing, that's a participation trophy enough. You don't get no trophies just because you participate. Stop doing that. He caught on all these, youth youth sports teams to quit giving participation trophies. And I've been right on that topic. I agree with them 100%. 100%. When I was playing youth sports, and I played sports all the way up into college and after college, tried out professionally. It didn't work out for me professionally, but I got a full ride scholarship. And of course, I've been a martial artist and my whole life, and stayed in great athletic shape, except now at 56 when I roll around with my 21-year-old He-Man son. And, he's so powerful and strong. I mean, he lifted a 500-pound tire 52 times, and I lifted it 2 times. I could have done 10. My best was 20. But that's how strong and powerful he is at 170. Here's the point. I can't do that anymore, right? I learned my lesson. All right, like a $250,000 hospital bill, right? Thank goodness for PPO, Blue Shield Insurance. Yeah. Okay, so basically, though, I've always agreed. I remember I was sitting there in playing football. I was sitting there playing ball, and we used to get these participation trophies just because we showed up when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I guess that was cool. I didn't care anything about it. But, it never made any sense to me. Then what value is a trophy to somebody who really earned it? I mean, if everybody's going to get a medal for serving in a United States military uniform, then what value is the Medal of Honor? What value does that bring at all to that, our most distinguished medal? It diminishes it. So, I agree with that Villanova coach. Wholeheartedly. Absolutely. And 100%. You're listening to the Jesse T Show and the world according to Torero. You're getting straight on the point today. Good to be back with you on a Tuesday, Southern California, as we are into the holiday season. Hey, we got it going on for you. We got a lot of good shows coming up here this month of December, and we'll be talking more about that. The award shows are going to be out there in the street doing our thing live on AVTV Live and the Entertainment Channel, and so we're good to have you along. Coming back at you in just a few. We're going to come back at you here. There's a couple of more interesting things to talk about, and thanks for chiming in. Appreciate that. Right now, of course, the Brown Beauty is still on duty, on there and everywhere. We are from the community to the world at www.thepowerofvoices.com. It's the Jesse T Show right here on thepowerofvoices.com and AVTV Live in our digital broadcasting TV and radio network. Lee, baby, you got that thing hooked up for me? I hope you do. If you don't, I just keep going because gosh knows I can keep talking. That's for sure. All right. Don't hear it. Don't hear it. Don't hear it. Don't hear it. All right. Well, that's okay. So check it out. I was coming across something today, which I thought was pretty interesting. And that's something of cliches. We use, yeah. I know. I haven't shaved. I know. And I've decided after almost a 12-day stay in the hospital that I'm not going to shave. I've decided to go the mountain man look. What do you think? You like that mountain man look? You got that salt and pepper beard going in there? I mean, I haven't grown anything like this in 40 years. I couldn't really grow something like this when I was 16, but it was all patchy and like that. But finally I'm able to grow a beard here. So I thought, well, maybe I'm gonna grow myself a beard. Might as well. It grew for like 12 days, 14 days now, and I'm just gonna let it grow. Everybody seems to have a beard. Even Ben Carson, our new maybe HUD secretary. And someone mentioned to me today that there's a guy who doesn't know anything about HUD. Well, neither did Cesar Cisneros for the first President Clinton, back in the day of the 90s, when he gave the first Latino to ever hold that office, Caesar Cisneros, he knew nothing about HUD. He knew nothing about housing. In fact, he just was a politician. And he really didn't do anything in housing or anything like that. And he had to resign in shame. There was such a big boogaboo about him. So you don't necessarily have to have experience in government to be able to have common sense and logic in your head. And Trump is starting to show that's true. And that was, yeah, the bikers for Trump and the Veterans for Trump coalition still out there going real strong. And they're going to be there at the inauguration. And that I'm trying to get to, if I can get my clearances, I'm going to be broadcasting live from there. That's one of the ideas that we've got going on. So, we're going to try to do that. But the clearances are pretty difficult for press clearances. So we're still working on that here at AVTV Live. But if anybody thinks that they're going to go out there and protest this movement, this electoral movement to protest against President Trump, might as well just give it up. I mean, you're gonna have protests that are going to be protesting against you, bikers and Veterans for Trump. They got a big old caravan down there. From what I understand, I was looking at some information on that. You got a huge caravan of people that are gonna be out there protesting the protesters. It's gonna be a spectacle, and I can't wait. It's gonna be really something to watch. That's for sure. I mean, can you imagine what some of the side streets and the side roads are going to be like? With the stuff that we're not going to see on TV? That'll be very interesting to see how today's newest technologies are going to be working to get a lot of this side street stuff, right? I mean, really, it's going to be exciting. We got some exciting times coming up here, and exciting times in business and everything. It's really amazing what's happening in our country today, and this movement that's moving and continuing to grow on the business side of things. People are really starting to say, wow, this is really something, what's happening here. You know, a lot of business people are excited about the opportunities for more income, more wealth, and more job creation. Yesterday, we talked about the marijuana business and how that is going to be a burgeoning industry. And I showed you how you could make millions of dollars in that business yesterday. And so that was there's just going to be lots of great possibilities here in that respect. For making money, which means jobs, which means more and more house buying, more and more mortgages, more and more loans, more purchasing, more commerce. So these are the types of things that it offers in terms of why income in a community is so important, why good jobs are so important. I mean, this is why I believe that Donald Trump won, is because of the jobs concept. A lot of people have a lot of ideas of why he won, but I truly believe he won because of jobs. And people feel good about themselves when they have jobs. Don't you feel good about yourself when you have a job? When you have a good paying job, and when you can have some extra income in your pocket and can make things happen, I mean, that's kind of, what it's all about. You can buy cool stuff, go cool places, hang out with your family, take care of your needs, have great times with your friends. I mean, that's what having a good job is all about. And so over this next year, we're going to have part of a program, and we do on Wednesday. We have the Wednesday real estate show, and we also have part of that real estate show is I Got a Job for You. So we're going to be creating a jobs program kind of employment placement center here on the Jesse T Show every Wednesday. So you want to kind of mark that in your calendar from 5 to 6. We're going to take a half hour of that hour and talk about real estate and loans and how you can buy things and sell things and make millions of dollars and become financially free and have something more than a job. And of course, a job means just over broke. So, and then the next half hour in that hour on Wednesday, we're going to talk about getting a job, some good paying jobs that will pay you 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80 an hour. Okay? Not these begging for $15 an hour job, which you're essentially going to lose anyway due to robotics and technology. They're going to replace you. So we've got the jobs program called I Got a Job for You. And so we're actually going to have some employers on that are going to be recruiting. And I used to have a syndicated show, small syndicated network show called I Got a Job for You. And we're going to put that together and help some folks here in Southern California and across the nation, because major employers employ people all from coast to coast. So getting a job, I think, is really important for this country today. So we've got that on Wednesday. It's called Real Estate Wednesday, and I Got a Job for You. And we do that every Wednesday. Then usually on Thursday and Friday, we do much more entertainment things as we end towards the weekend, and we kind of turn the corner around third base, and we start looking at the weekend. Interviews with the music artists and actors and producers and directors. And I'm booking up a couple of things for this week that I think are going to be rather exciting. I'll be talking about them tomorrow. Some people coming in. And most likely I'll probably be down at the studio in the undisclosed place of the Power of Voices studio somewhere in Southern California near LAX. And we'll be in studio and do some stuff down there as I'm back up, red hot and rolling. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, which I thought was pretty interesting, I'm going to talk a little Bible stuff. The reason why I'm going to talk a little Bible stuff, because when I was in the hospital, you know, and you're contemplating your mortality, something crazy happens to you. That happened to me in the internal bleeding and losing half the blood in my body. You realize how fast life can end. And you realize how little control we have over our lives. Any one of us, at any time, in any second, can drop dead on a moment. Can get a disease or sickness or an injury that we didn't necessarily cause ourselves, or we caused it ourselves. I've always chosen to live a toxic-free life in that respect so I could be healthy my whole life. And thank goodness I am, because if I wasn't as healthy as I had been, then what would have happened, I would probably not be here. And Mama T and the family would be deciding what they're going to do with this old body of mine that would have been dead and gone. So I realized sitting there that you start thinking about your mortality, and God, and all these things. You, no matter, you know, there are no atheists in a foxhole, and there just aren't. And so you realize your mortality, and I don't know how many of you have actually read the Bible from page to page. Actually read it. A lot of people say they have. But I don't think too many people really have read the Bible from page to page and then read it again and then read it again and read it again, just because it's interesting reading. And it's the kind of words on paper that when you read it once, you can read it like 97 times and find new things in there. It's just one of those types of writings. And I don't know whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God. That's not really what this is about. We're going to talk about kind of another version of the book of Genesis and in that respect. But I just enter the idea that we all face our mortality and we wonder where we come from, what we're doing, and where are we actually going to go. Nobody really knows. Only the dead people for sure know if there is a true God or not. That is for sure. Everything else is based in faith, and everything else is based in research and understanding and interpretation. Everything is up for argument. It's a learned ideology, a learned topic matter, theology, and the study of religion, and the study of the 5 major religions in the world. But nevertheless, most people, I think, on the planet Earth believe in something. And so a while back, I read a lot of stuff about this guy. His name was Zecharia Sitchin. Zecharia Sitchin, Sitchin. And I've been reading about Zecharia Sitchin for probably 35 years, maybe longer than that. And his interpretation of the Bible is very interesting. This was an archaeologist who studied his whole life around the Sumerian tablets. And that's basically up there in Syria, Turkey, and where the Kurdish are fighting right now. That was the ancient empire of Sumeria. Okay? And it was an empire that was way before the Romans, way before the Israelites, way before the Egyptians. In fact, their hieroglyphics that they found predate the Egyptian hieroglyphics by thousands and thousands of years, going back some 14 to 20,000 years, telling stories of things that took place 500,000 years ago. And in that respect, that's what Zecharia Sitchin was all about. So what I did there is I've constantly wanted to study what he does and what his interpretations have been about the early writings of the Bible. So I thought I'd kind of go over a couple things real quick here on the Jesse T Show from 5 to 6. So this was the events, according to Zecharia Sitchin, in his lifelong study, maybe 60 years of study of the Sumerian tablets, which he was the first to decipher the hieroglyphics. And one of the reasons why is because I was in the hospital, and also today there was a story that was running that they were able to find some new Egyptian hieroglyphics that they've never found before, and these hieroglyphics have never been interpreted in any way. So it's new hieroglyphics that these individuals that study that stuff are now looking into to try to decipher what this tablet about this big says. And they're hoping it leads to the connection between Moses and taking the Jewish people out of Egypt, or that the Jewish people actually were there in any great number. And so I got to thinking, I got to go back and look at Zecharia Sitchin just a little bit. So what he believed is this. He believed in the Sumerian gods. So 450,000 years ago, on Nibiru, a distant member of our solar system, life faces slow extinction as the planet atmosphere erodes. Deposed by Anu, the ruler Allahu escapes in a spaceship and finds refuge on Earth. He discovers that Earth has gold that can be used to protect Nibiru's atmosphere. Nibiru is this planet that's supposed to come in our atmosphere every 3,600, into our solar system every 3,600 years. And right about at the time that they're supposed to start coming back. Led by Enki, a son of Anu, the Anunnaki land on Earth established Eridu, Earth Station 1, to extract gold from the Persian Gulf. Now, eventually they moved on to Africa. And when you look at Africa from a satellite picture, the southern part of Africa has a bunch of round crater-like holes in it everywhere. And those are mines. Those are open pit mines. I mean, we're talking thousands of them. All right, so what happened was, as the gold production failed and they moved to Africa, some arguments took place, and in creating the strife, the Anunnaki started fighting amongst themselves. All right, and according to Zecharia Sitchin, in his theory, life on Earth regresses during a new glacial period about 200,000 years ago. And that's pretty true. When they time it back, when they take those deep core drawings from the Antarctic and they see the atmosphere, they take these things, they're like 300 feet long, and they can see the atmosphere. That happened. So as the climate warms again, the Anunnaki in the Bible, known as the Nephilim. Now that's the connection. So to Enlil's growing annoyance, he marries the daughters of man. And the assertion of Earth, a new ice age begins. Regressive types of man roam the Earth. They did some gene splicing because they were very advanced technically. And it's interesting because all the ancient societies of antiquity in their hieroglyphics have the same identical type of giant humanoid in their hieroglyphics, whether it's Inca, whether it's Aborigine, whether it's Asian, whether it's African, whether it's Egyptian, whether it's out of the Arabic areas, whether it's from India. They all have the same type of creature in their hieroglyphics. Tall, pointy head, very tall, much taller than anybody else. So it's interesting that it all happened about 4,000 years ago around the Earth all at once. So around 49,000 years ago, Enki and Ninhursag, which was his brother's sister, or his brother and his sister, elevate humans of Anunnaki parentage to rule in what they called Shurapak, or that's in the mankind's demise or dynasty area, which is basically where Mesopotamia is, Babylonia, and all of that is. So after the deluge, though, Enki breaks the oath, instructs Noah to build a submersible ship, or a ship that can float as well. In other words, a ship that can go in and out of water and float. The deluge sweeps over the earth, and the Anunnaki witness the total destruction from their orbiting platforms. Okay? Now, the Ra, or in Egypt, about 9,700 years ago, Marduk, Enki's firstborn son, divides the dominion over Egypt between Osiris and Seth. Seth seizes the dismembers Osiris's, assumes rule over the whole Nile Valley. And that's that big, tall creature with the pointy head that you see. And the pharaohs then after tried to emulate them. From birth, they would shape their skulls in a certain way to emulate their gods. So there's a whole nother understanding in terms of how Genesis and the Bible can be interpreted. And I find that to be really interesting. So you may want to check out some stuff from Zachariah Sitchin and do some of your own study there, because it's really cool. It kind of warps your brain a little bit, and you start reading the Bible from a different point of view, and you start thinking about these things in a different way, which I believe causes you to have even a more personal relationship with your faith and your belief. So just something there for some good old cocktail information in that respect. All right. So just to get back with you here now as we approach the end of the hour in the Jesse T Show. It's good to have you along with us. It's good to have you along with me. It's good to be back with you. And we've got a lot of good things happening tomorrow. We've got Real Estate Wednesday tomorrow. I got a job for you tomorrow, so check it out. They're going to have some jobs for you to check out and be a part of. And also going to teach you how you can turn some money, a little bit of money, into a first home purchase, or a little bit of more money into a second purchase that will allow your wealth to grow. And also we're going to talk a little foreclosures, because they seem to be coming back into the marketplace a little bit more now around the country, as I think we may have a slight recession in 2017. So hey, look, it's good to be back with you on the Jesse T Show, and join us every day here from 5 to 6 as you enter my world, the world according to Torero. You're straight on the point. What can I tell you? I still got to go train tonight, though. Yeah. I'm going to go and swim and do the Stairmaster. Do some of my Wing Chun dummy. Hit Bob a little bit. Some light calisthenics. But I'm not going to wrestle with 21-year-old strongmen anymore. Hey, it's the Jesse T Show, my friends. Good to have you back with me. Good to be along with you as we let the music take us out right here. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And as I let you go from the world according to Torero, you are now straight on the point, and the brown beauty is off duty. Boom! See ya!